I recognize that I don't have a lot of talents in some areas. Like one area that I'm really terrible at is looking at the face of a baby and being able to say whether they look like their mom or their dad. Some of you are really good at that, and they'll say, oh, that baby looks just like her mother. I think, really? To me, she looks like a baby. I just think babies all look like babies. To me, I don't have that ability. Even when kids are like in grade school, they'll say, well, he looks like his dad, or think, I think they change a lot from when they're in grade school to like high school. On a regular basis, kids that I taught 30 years ago, 40 years ago, will come up and say, hey, you taught me in third grade. And I think, I'm sorry, you don't look like a third grader anymore. I might remember you if you still stayed the same, like a little third grader. Then I'd say, oh yeah, I remember you in that class. But now you're an adult, and you changed. You look different. But there are some family resemblances that are just really strong. You can see them in people, and I can know what family they're from just by, I know, I can guess who your parents are, because you look like you must be of the same family, cousins, or I know that the Zuerlein face is pretty strong because all of our cousins kind of look alike, and the nieces and nephews into the next. It's a very strong gene. You get a Zuerlein face, like it or not, that's going to be your face. There's family resemblances, and sometimes people talk alike. Well, in families, I think a lot of times people talk alike in families. Every once in a while, my brother will leave a voicemail for me, and I think it's me. I think, I left a voicemail for myself. How could that be? It's because his voice patterns and how he talks are like me. I think, okay, that's me on the phone talking to me. But it's my brother. I think that family resemblance is what Jesus is trying to get across to the disciples today. Because this is the Last Supper, and he's saying farewell to them. And then after listening to him for 3 years, Philip still says, well, just show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Come on, Jesus, we just do that. And Jesus must have just let out a big sigh. It's not there in the gospel, but you hear it. After all this time, Philip, you're still asking me for that? Come on. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. It's the same family. It's a strong family resemblance. Jesus looks like God the Father. So for you and me, when we say, I really wish I knew what God was like, Jesus probably does that same sigh. Hey, come on. You know me. If you know me, you know the Father. Well, I wish I knew if God was really nice, if God was merciful, if God was peaceful, if God welcomes me. Look at Jesus. What would Jesus do? How would he respond to you? Because if you know Jesus, you know God the Father. You don't have to worry about it. They have a very strong family resemblance. fact, as Jesus says quite frequently, we are one. The Father and I are one. If we know Jesus, we know God the Father. No difference there. They talk alike, sound alike, act alike. So we can trust that mercy and incredible love that Jesus has for you and me is there with God the Father. But here's the challenge as we listen to Jesus and know what happens in the early church, is that the family resemblance can't stop there. Because Jesus wants you, my friends, to be part of the family and to look like him as well. To talk like him, act like him, so that when somebody on the street sees you, they say, "Hey, I think I saw Jesus today." And then they have had an encounter with God through their encounter with you. So that really is our goal, always. As a community, we are to be the body of Christ. As individuals, we are to be in the image of God. That's how we are created, to be in God's image. You are like Jesus. So it's a challenge. And I know it's one of my prayers every day that people would see in me this day the presence of Jesus Christ. And I think it's a good prayer for all Christians. May anyone who encounters you today realize that you and Jesus are one.